I'm going to read some thoughts on the relationship between the individual and community. The complete text will be on the screen, and I encourage you to read along to help with your focus and understanding. The individual and the community are inseparable. They exist in a complementary relationship in which each lends meaning to the other. What benefits the individual benefits the community, and in turn, what benefits the community benefits the individual. The opposite is also true. What impacts the individual negatively, including our own bad behavior, will impact negatively on the group, and what impacts negatively on the group will impact negatively on the individual. It is an ecological system, like elsewhere in nature, where everything affects everything else. We may be able to make right choices on our own, but when the group is positively oriented, our job is made easier. Similarly, when the group is negatively oriented, we may still be able to make positive choices, but it is more difficult. It is like swimming upstream or going against the tide. Self-development. Self-development accrues to the greater good. It benefits the community. Our self-interest is best served by our own best behavior. We make a positive contribution to the community, and the benefit comes back to us. This is more obvious in our closest of communities, family, friendship, or team, but it is also true on a global scale. The effect may not be as obvious or immediate as we move further from our direct experience, but it has an influence nonetheless. You have an opportunity to shape your environment. If you choose not to participate, you leave it to others. You will be influenced by the group whether you participate or not. It's your choice. Community. Community is a collection of individuals based on some common interest or values. Community does not exist separate from the individual members. It is not tangible. You can't touch it. Though we feel its influence, it exists more as an idea or concept. The group is dependent on the action of individuals. Individual. The individual consists of mental, emotional, and spiritual components. Exists is tangible, in physical form, and only individuals act. Individual rights. The liberty of each individual to pursue life and goals without interference from individuals, of others, or the government. Responsibility to community. The individual's duties or obligations to the group or the whole, such as cooperation, participation, and respect for values and goals and other individuals. Community norms. Community norms are the shared values, principles, and goals which provide the basis for order and set the boundaries for individual expression. If individuals are totally free to express their own wants, needs, desires, and impulse, chaos or disorder will likely result. Chaos can exist comfortably up to a point, but individuals' needs and wants will often differ, putting people at odds, with little chance for resolution without some guiding principles to help resolve the conflict. Guiding principles exist separate and apart from any individual, but collectively can act as a light to lead us out of the darkness of chaos to a place of peace and harmony with self and with others. Chaos does not allow for cooperation, which at times is necessary to survival. However, when boundaries are too tight or too rigid, it limits individual expression, which is necessary for creativity and positive innovation. Creativity often leads to change in the way we look at and do things, and is essential to human progress. When individuals are able to put self-interest aside, to rise above our own desires, mood, anger, or frustration, for the sake of shared values, principles, and goals, for the greater good, the community thrives, the species thrives. Nature rewards and encourages this behavior with a dose of self-esteem. You feel better about yourself. Communities struggle to strike a right balance between the rights and needs of the individual and the needs of the community, group, or whole. Individual rights are traded for the safety, predictability, and greater abundance that comes from shared values and goals and cooperation. Some of the issues in contemporary society where there is tension between individual rights and community needs are as follows: gun restrictions, voting rights and registration requirements, gay rights and gay marriage, the Patriot Act and privacy concerns, racial profiling, traffic laws, mandated health insurance, taxes, required immunizations, workers' rights and labor unions, seatbelt laws, helmet laws, and women's rights and equal pay. Some of these are easier to accept, given the alternative, such as in the case of traffic laws. But each case is subject to individual interpretation. There are circumstances that influence our willingness to accept these restrictions. For example, taxes in time of war, intrusion on privacy following a terrorist act, gun restrictions following a mass killing, or required immunizations during or following an epidemic. The Constitution was constructed to maintain a balance between individual rights and community needs. Much of the work of the Supreme Court is about reconciling these differences. We encourage you to think of questions and/or examples that come to mind based on the material presented above, or other thoughts you may have on this topic. We then ask you to consider sharing them with your group. Thank you.